I kind of like it, not gonna lie.
I'm not kidding. That's a cool idea.
It is.
Where's the death save?
So if you look in your character sheet,
Thank you, guys.
so that is a rule that we should probably cover ahead of time, so that way you know if you get dropped zero in 5th edition, you're not dead. You're basically incapacitated, unless you take like some insane amount of damage. So when you're at 0, you don't go below 0 anymore. It's just 0.
Ah, there it is.
Each round, you're going to make a death save, which is you roll a d20, and you basically are wanting high instead of low. If you roll a 4, that's a failure. So on the character sheet, you've got 3 boxes for failures, and you would check one of those boxes. When you roll all 3, you are dead. If you roll all 3 successes, you stabilize, and you just need someone to come over there and slap you after the encounter to bring you back to life. And preferably do some medicine. And of course, that's one of the healing issues, is you always want to stabilize someone before healing them, because if not, it burns up all those hit points to get them to basically stable, which sucks. So you could do a medicine check of 10 or higher that stabilizes someone, and then you can let the healer drop a big ass heal on them, rather than watch that entire heal just stabilize. Or as Andy is showing us, the cool spell Spare the Dying, which is the healer comes running up, slaps you on the foot, and magically your wounds clot and you stop dying. There's also a cool one too that you can slap on somebody that keeps them from coming back as an undead, which can be handy sometimes.
Yeah, I was listening to the Driss books, the Icewind Dale and stuff like that. It's like sooner or later everybody's brought back from the dead.
You haven't lived until you've been brought back from the dead.
It might be a couple hundred years, but you're brought back as an undead.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how pathetic you were. Like, it doesn't matter how pathetic you are. You're brought back.
So settings wise, just to give you guys a overview of history of the setting, is basically way back, thousands of years ago, there's the sealing of the Titans when the gods showed up and put the Titans in their place, just like Greek history, Then you had what the people in the stories refer to as the Age of Monsters, when monsters and other things like archons had massive empires where humans and everybody else served them or died. Then you have the birth of the polis, or polises, which basically just means humanity and the goodly races took the push for civilization and made things happen to actually have civilized cities and things. So you still have issues with like the humans and the Minotaurs having their feud, and some of the humans are total douchebags with other humans. So it's there's still plenty of conflict in classic Greek stories. So just to give you an idea, the current age is what they refer to as the Age of Heroes. So you guys are big damn heroes, and you're here for a reason, because you're big damn heroes. Because hey, that's a thing. So the realms, you have the actual material world, which is the world. Then you've got Nyx, which is the paranormal realm of the gods, which when you look up in the sky, it's that cool starry purple nebula looking thing. Then hidden in the underground subterranean realm is the underworld, which is both the Elysian Fields and Tartarus. So one thing to know about is you do not want to be an undead that escapes, especially with your monk, who, by the way, is hunting those guys. They're called returned, which usually it's like the old story of Orpheus trying to bring his wife back from the underworld. Most returned, in order to come back, they actually have to sacrifice all of their personality and memories. So they come back with skills, but no actual personality, which can be good or it can be very bad. Because all of a sudden, what if this horrible sociopath comes back with no memories? And he's naturally a sociopath, so I'll just get back to business.
They're glorified zombies.
Yeah, pretty much. They're your typical revenant type, undead that are usually not good to have around. So for the big human cities, there's basically 3 big city-states. You've got Melentis, which is basically your Athens. It's all about learning, magic, and progress. The goddess, that's basically the Athena goddess, is in charge of that one, and she basically wants things to progress and things to civilize. They're basically the middle line good human groups that want to keep shit, chill. They're all about preaching for the goodness and stuff. So then you've got Akros, which is basically your Greek Sparta. Partially the reason why they're the Greek Sparta is because they're right next to the Minotaur's kingdom. And we're not talking our sweetheart Bard Minotaur, who's a great person to be around. We're talking the baby-eating, donate 10 virgins because you're not going to get them back Minotaur. So that's basically, they've got the Spartan red and gold as their color scheme, And they believe in worship.
Stereotypes are flying already.
Mm-hmm. And they do worship the god of coolness, which our paladin who's not here worships is Iroin, the centaur god of the good version of what Ares would be. All the idealistic ideas of Ares. Conveniently, the Minotaurs worship the god of slaughter, which is the bad aspect of Ares. It's almost like they're set up for a dichotomy to hate each other.
Imagine that.
And then for the Returned, which are bad guys, they've got their own necropolis that you guys don't want to be getting near, because it's really bad. And
Ooh, sounds like fun.
Then you have Setessa, which is basically a human city based on Themyscira, Wonder Woman's island. So
Amazons.
It's basically Amazons, and they live at one with the earth. They basically believe in the Demeter Hera goddess, who's basically just chill and be one with the earth.
Sounds nice. Why are we going there?
And then you've got Mithros, which is basically based on King. God, my brain just blanked. It's a horrible time for it to blank. King Agamemnon. Remember the douchebag behind the war in Troy?
Yeah, because somebody stole his brother's wife. Yeah.
Yep, or he finally had a great excuse to finally go after the richest city that he didn't have, his thumb over. Basically, that city's based on Agamemnon's city. So basically, everyone loves him to his face because he's a great guy, right? Except when you're talking behind closed doors, they would love to kill him, but the problem is he purges his city every now and then. So people don't mess around with him.
Tyrant.
Then we've got the Druids of the Old Wood. So in the forest, you have Druids of the Satyr, Centaur, persuasion that get together. Then you've got the Leonin, which our Barbarian is and our Paladin is. Is basically they're half-line guys that serve the Archons in the Old Kingdom. A lot of people don't like them because age upon age ago, they were the foot soldiers for the Archons trying to oppress everybody. And they're big-ass muscular lion guys with claws that are kind of scary. On the plus side, most of them have spit in the eyes of the gods and do not worship gods at all. And they're iconoclast in the fact that they deny the gods vehemently. Which, unlike Odysseus, they actually get superpowers of protection versus he just pissed off the gods. Then we've got the Tritons, which our cleric happens to be a Triton, which are basically the aquatic people. And their goddess has this beautiful city like Miletus, which is basically their Atlantis off in the ocean. So our Tritons like to work with surface dwellers pretty easily. So there's usually not a problem of Tritons. Triton pirates would be the worst. They really would. And then, like we kind of touched on, was the Returned, which are sentient mortals who died and then they snuck out of the underworld somehow. There are merchants referred to as the Grey Merchant, which, by the way, people don't kill. It's a returned guy who walks around with a giant bag. He actually has, like, godly protection. And sometimes you'll find a coin that leads the way towards him. And he basically is random magic item merchant of whatever. So just to let you guys know, he could randomly pop up. It's one of those really weird mystical things that he pops up and he'll trade. If you give him something that's worth a lot to you, he'll trade for a magic item for that item if it's worth a lot to you personally. He basically is that curio shop that wants to trade junk for junk. And almost all of the returned, by the way, wear gold funeral masks. So they're super easy to spot for the most part. Why? Because they've got dead faces, so they wear the gold masks.
They have
from
no
their-
eyes,
Yep.
if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we've got our satyrs, which the satyrs love to live out in the fun-loving woods and do the satyr thing because is that one picture I showed you guys was Satyr Spring Break, where it says that one satyr's grabbing that guy going, rock on! We do have a group called the Cult of Horns, which are humans who seek endless pleasure without consequence. You know, they're basically all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, just to let you know. There's also, satyrs have a couple sex cults out there because it's ancient Greek stories, because, you know, revelries have to happen, damn it. We don't have a god Dionysus in this world, so the mortals have to make up for it. Your typical centaurs stick to bands, which basically migrate, which, as horse people, that's what they would do. And then there's big gatherings of centaurs every year in the seasons. They do their little meets. As I'm flipping through my notes, you've got nymphs because it's Greek mythology. So of course there's the nymphs based on all of the elements. You've got giants. You've got griffins, archons, sirens, chimeras, sphinxes, krakens, cantoblepuses, which is that ox breathy thing. You got harpies, gorgons, demons. In this world, demons are a little less demonic and a little more vanilla because they're basically just like furies that escape from the underworld. You've got your cyclopses, your minotaurs, your sphinxes, your dragons. For the most part, in this setting, dragons have been nerfed immensely, so you will only normally find blue dragons or red dragons of the stupid variety. They can communicate, they rarely communicate. Some reason the gods have issues with all the other dragons.
Go figure.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you've got lots and lots of island creatures because at one point there'll be like 100 islands you guys can head off into, and depending on how well our sailor rolls, thankfully your cleric is a sailor, by the way, will
Dakra
depend
Isle.
on what islands you end up at.
Now I want to play Enya's Sail Away.
No.
Or you can do the Royal Caribbean.
Sticks.
They've got a version that's come sail away, come sail
Come
away.
sail away.
And it's basically all about advertising. It's great.
That works too.
Yep. So, any additional questions?
Not
Okay.
from me.
And just remember, you guys are first level, so you have one hit dice. The way hit dice work on a short or long rest, you can opt to roll that hit dice and get back that much hit points as an out of combat kind of thing. Though some of you may have class abilities that let you use your hit dice, which I don't think any of you actually do. I think it's only the fighter that does. And no one took fighter. So let's take a quick sec to have each of you guys introduce yourself and your characters, just since you guys have hung out together because you're big damn heroes. And yes, conveniently, y'all will be hanging out at a vineyard having wine as the sun is setting on a beautiful Tuscan sea, you know. So let's go ahead and start with Andy, because I'll go in the order of who's on the bottom of my Roll20.
Why do I have to go first?
Because you logged into Roll20 first.
So my character's name is Thalessa. I am a Triton and a cleric of Thassa. And she has been working on a variety of ships looking for adventures and probably came up to you guys. Or we all, did the standard tavern responding to the thing.
Yep, it's going to be the typical, you're all sitting together having wine, and then shit's going to happen.
Yeah. My character is relatively reserved. She's about 5'6", slight of build. She's blue with kind of like a violet hair color or hair chitin or whatever you want to call it, with green eyes. And she has a sense of humor, but a little on the serious side.
Okay, that's good. So we know she's got some funny haha, but she's mostly serious. So Brandon, go ahead and bring it in with your furry fury.
That is just the worst way to put that. I mean,
I was
damn.
inspired. I was looking at your picture.
Yeah, I'm so not going there.
I appreciate the discretion.
I'm having like flashbacks from Las Vegas episodes.
So I am Biako of the Iron's Mane. I am standing a little bit over 7 feet tall, so God, I hope I'm dwarfing everybody, because otherwise this is just gonna be. If I feel short, I'll probably respond with violence. I respond to just about every challenge with violence. Tell me if that's a bad thing.
There's
though,
nothing
honestly.
wrong with that.
For what? A barbarian?
Yes.
Yeah, that's about normal.
It's like no violence for everything.
Think about it. We've got a Hercules. I mean, if you look at the classic stories, that's what Hercules was. Yeah, that was his problem. This is great. I love this. This is story fodder.
Wait, does that mean I'd wear a mane of my own people? That sounds really messed up. I'm totally down for it.
No.
No, it's just a
You
lot
got
of
a whole bunch
hair.
of scalps.
Yeah.
Oh, but this coat made out of human scalps.
You just start weaving scalps into your hair, you know.
I like it. I'm all for it. And the gods can get fucked. That's basically.
You are a truist in your species as an iconoclast that you just don't give a hell about the gods. See, I like that personally because maybe that's just what the gods need to save them, is someone who doesn't kowtow to the gods. Just saying.
Are you working my backstory against me? How dare you?
Okay, so is there anything else you want to throw out there?
No, not really. I mean, I'm probably just gonna, if everyone's drinking wine, I'll probably just be kind of laying out in the sun a little bit because, oh my God, the sun feels so good on my fur.
Okay,
As my cat will attest. So,
looking for that last sunny spot. Okay, so Kevin, go ahead and bring it in with your creepy creeper.
Yeah, he's not the normal race, I guess. He's a Draenei is a Nyxborn. He's basically created by Theros because there's just too many returned roaming around. So he created Draenei and probably a few others, who knows, to go out and start hunting the returned and return them to their rightful place. I basically use the Shadow Elf as a base for it. So yeah, you don't want to know what he looks like in the underworld.
And think about it. You're Nyxborn, so your god just plucked you from the sky and kind of molded you into shape. So you have the ability to turn all starry night skyish.
Yeah, so he's got the cloak thing, and whenever his weapon hits something, it gets all sparkly, which annoys the shit out of him. But yeah, he's a monk, and that's pretty much it. He has absolutely no emotions that he knows of, but he gets angry, so he just doesn't understand emotions whatsoever.
Think about it. Anger's the easiest one to default to. You're going to learn the rest.
He's basically 2 years old, so.
And think about it. You're really the ferryman's bounty hunter. Dun dun dun
Yep.
dun dun.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so Jess, after we just went all dark and mysterious, bring us in with your character.
I'm Chorielius. I'm an older fellow, and apparently I'm Irish. Something.
We'll
figure this out.
Scottish.
Well, we'll just wander between accents till something sticks, I think. Anyways, if you're the youngest one, I'm probably the oldest one. And I've probably asked you too many questions, and I'm finding out whether you get angry at that, our young Nick-sworn friend, because I am a historian, and I would love to learn more about...
He has a charisma of 8, so, you know.
Not going to turn me off. I've asked people with lower charisma than that.
At least he doesn't shit.
Now, does plying you with alcohol make you more talkative? Or just angrier?
He's 2. He doesn't drink.
We'll see whether I can turn you into a drunken master this way.
It's Greece. You either drink the wine or have dysentery.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh dear, that's not going to be good for me.
Well, he does have a charisma of 8, as I said, so, you know. Dysentery? Yeah, why not? I'm sorry. Critical failure.
Historian. Doesn't seem like he's this. Corelius does not seem like the adventuring type mostly. White hair, maybe slightly glowy eyes. His icon. Has some armor. It's a sword. Ready to go out, strike a blow for Clothis. Ready to tell all of you all about her. She's wonderful. Goddess of Fate. Really just the best. Gonna set everything right in the universe, the right path that everything should be on. You should really, really enjoy her return. It's gonna be the best thing ever, I'm sure.
Is she dead?
Oh no, she isn't dead. She just
Meh.
She didn't. No,
Meh.
she just didn't really feel like being in the limelight. Didn't like a lot of people dying. Not going to bring them back because that's not the right thing.
No.
So, you know, you're on the right path, my monk friend. You could have a friend in Clothis. I was probably supposed to introduce myself.
Probably.
Good enough.
The satyr wanders in his thoughts sometimes. He's very sagely in that regard.
Yes. Are we supposed to be working tonight, or am I supposed to? In which case, I should probably stay sober.
Well, you're actually just, you just finished up some heroic business. You're enjoying some spoils and relaxation. So you're not really on as an oracle, by the way, since, you should let the group know that you are a part-time oracle.
Yes, I am very oracle-ish, and that's why I stare off into space and say weird things from time to time, and not at all because I am weird or drunk.
Oh, yes, because you're the weird one.
Mm-hmm.
As he's having
We don't speak a motley crew.
I mean, you're talking to a guy who has black eyes, gray skin, no hair.
occasionally gets all starry-faced.
That's okay. We all get a little starry-faced from time to time. Is that not a metaphor?
Not in my case.
And of course, that leads us to Miki, the heart and soul of our happy group, played by Maria.
I have to be the heart and soul. Uh-oh.
Yeah, you are totally got to be the levity of the group. You know you are.
Well, fortunately, I'm 6'4" and 238 pounds, so I get to have quite a few glasses of wine, whether there's work to be done or not. I am a bard, so I am nearly always to be found in a tavern. As long as I keep performing, I can pretty much stay wherever I want without having to worry about funds, which is nice. And I'm a bit of a ham, so it doesn't really bother me. Unfortunately, I am 24 years old and kind of have that early 20s, kind of righteously indignant, social justice warrior, obnoxious element a
Great.
lot of young 20s people have as well.
We have a fucking millennial in the group.
Right? Which I'm not in real life, but we'll figure it out.
So far, our group consists of a millennial and a boomer, apparently. Back in my day, we didn't write things down. That's why I sold my pen and quill.
There you go. So being a Minotaur is interesting. Obviously, there's a bit of a stereotype, and a lot of people kind of believe that we're just, violent and sadistic and just want to go around killing everybody all the time. And a lot of Minotaurs follow our god, who's a dark god, Mogus, and the legend is that he created the Minotaurs and then tyrannized them for centuries, and that basically he took his most bloodthirsty followers and transformed them into Minotaurs and claimed that was some sort of exaltation, and that's kind of pissed me off my whole life. I don't feel like worshiping gods is any more inherent to Minotaurs than any other creature. The fact that my parents named me for an ancient hero warrior of the Minotaur people rubs me the wrong way, and I've kind of spent my life refusing to accept the path of a warrior or be anything that's stereotypically Minotaur in any way. I have no desire to kill in the name of any god. I'm not a pacifist. I'll fight if I need to fight, but I rankle at the idea of doing it for the sake of a god. I have a little bit of an issue with the status quo. When I was younger and reckless, I joined this group of artists and rabble-rousers who were trying to tear down the established order in Perforos' name. So that's how I kind of got associated with my god Perforos, who is the god of fire and creativity.
He's a good guy.
But I don't really true believer kind of worship him so much as just I despise the established order, and hanging out with Perforos' people is kind of effective in aid of that. I don't appreciate the way the nobles are running the land, and I kind of think I could do everything better.
You rebel.
Yep, millennial.
Change is one of my great ideals, and I'm all about let's sweep away the old and make room for the new. So my defining work as a bard is called A Hoop, Two Pigeons, and a Death Hound, which is a parody of one of the incompetent nobles in our land. And that's about it. Oh, and I'm rarely seen without my bagpipes, which sometimes makes me popular and sometimes not so. They're kind of a polarizing gimmick.
Hey, I mean, Greek bagpipes were cool. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. According to that picture, they're more like boob pipes, but
That picture we found was priceless.
That was a thing.
So it's I play the boob pipes. You mean the bagpipes? No, the boob pipes.
Some Renaissance age artists had fun with that picture.
Oh yes, and my character has the Cathara to help, him sing out songs of the histories of Theros. So he doesn't earn many coins doing that. It's it turns out that stabbing things is much more financially stable than teaching people history for some reason.
Well, society as it is, sometimes
It is.
Stabbing is lucrative.
Yep. People don't want to hear about stabbing things. They want to see you stab them.
So like I said, you guys are basically killing time in a winery, because that's what one does when the sun starts to set. And you have a nice comfy bed for the night if you want there, because, well, thanks between your bard and your oracle and your big damn hero status, because you're big damn heroes. I mean, you guys pretty much have it made here. We want to retire and take up rooms in this winery. And they'll say, sure, because, well, I can sell tickets to you guys, as fanboys and girls will come and see you. So, speaking of that, see, already, it sounds like our bard's all choked up.
I'm still staring at the cup in front of me. trying to decide whether I should drink it or not.
So it's your typical Saturday evening type of deal. You know, the work has been done. It's now time to rest. And tomorrow is a relaxation day to go hunt or ride chariots or do whatever you want to do because, hey, we believe in weekends in fantasy worlds. You guys are there. There's a couple of the local good old boy huntsmen. You know, they're farmers during the day, but they hunt. You know, and they came back empty-handed from a boar hunt earlier today. You guys are doing your thing. Anything in particular you guys are talking about to the establishment runner?
I'm trying to get somebody to join me in knocking over some statues tomorrow.
To which they're like, please don't. Our local prince is a very nice guy, you know. And of course, this is like Greek style. When we say prince, there's like dukes in England, you know. There's dozens of princes. You know, you're only a prince as long as your dad stays king. As they're just like, hey, it's a good thing we know the Minotaur's kidding because she's funny. Ha 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 ha.
Everybody dies sometime.
What's the most strange drink that you have here at this bar?
We have some fermented barley. It's apparently a drink that's catching on, but you should stick to the wine. Your head will be foggy in the morning if you have too much of the fermented barley. Barley is for horses and cows. And he kind of like gives a nod to the Minotaur. Oh, no offense. No offense meant, sorry.
But I am a goat, and that nearly makes me a cow. So my friend and I will have some barley.
Barley fire water.
Barley water.
So things are going good. You know, it's a nice, cool night. Folks are taking turns doing, you know, old songs, and they're especially our bard. Because, you know, that's what folks do when they drink. And all of a sudden, you guys hear a chariot kind of pull up on the little road outside. If everybody can see on the map.
Mm-hmm.
So a few seconds later, there's that Cheers style pause where everybody kind of holds their breath to see who's coming in the doors. You know, is it somebody you want to cheer or is it somebody that's going to be douchey? And immediately comes in this beautiful human woman. She's wearing the reddish clothes of Akros, you know, the Sparta-inspired world, and she basically screams, "Noblewoman of money," with her guard coming on, and he basically opens the door for her, kind of gives the room the dirty stink eye as like, why are we in this establishment? And they kind of like just come over and take this chair here, and he pulls it out for her, and he sits with his, you know, back kind of to you guys while she's surveying the room. And he kind of like gestures of your finest drink and some food. And the bartender's like, hey, looks like it's going to be a payday tonight. Not that he doesn't mind giving free drinks to you guys. And he basically goes over and brings them some like bread and cheese, you know, the typical platter that's behind the bar waiting for folks that you're just like, why didn't we get the good cheese? And she's kind of giving a long glance to the 5 oddballs that are you guys sitting at the bar. I mean, some kind of shadowy guy who doesn't look normal. We got the, you know, satyr sitting there kind of, you know, talking about stories. Then the Triton sitting there kind of out of her element, so to speak. The big angry barbarian lion man looking at his empty glass. Why is the mug always empty? And then the bard that's just humming tunes and looking like she's enjoying this place.
I mean, we have a satyr and a minotaur in our party. They were hardly going to serve us anything but the sheep cheese.
I specifically asked
Great.
for the sheep juice. I must know
cheese.
the history of the sheep juice.
It's like I was too awkward to offer you goat cheese. I wasn't going to offer you cow cheese. You put me in a real place.
Here, have some manchego.
It probably won't offend you.
It will be like supping on mother's milk.
Oh, God.
Very late.
Obviously,
Oh,
the
no, no,
Euro
no.
Okay.
the Euro meat has not been offered to you.
What's the mother?
Or each other's mothers. Oh my, that's quite rude, I believe.
Some of you were just plucked from the sky.
I'm literally like a god's fart, so
It's just when the gods reach up to the constellation and pull a specific tool
Yep.
out of the toolbox. You were made to do one thing and one thing only, except you're exceeding your capacity, Johnny Five.
Yeah. Yeah, don't feel bound by your programming. And mothers, they're just bundles of awkward expectations. You're not missing anything there.
There's some issues there.
Okay.
The first time she walked up to her mother and said, "Mom, don't have a cow." So she kind of, starts to eat, and then she drinks, and these guys, of course, over here are making lewd comments because, hot, sexy chick in here. And, you got some hot and sexy guys up in your teammates here. And a couple more of their friends come popping by. As it gets later and darker, there's nothing else for the goat herders to do. So their numbers kind of increase, depending on how quickly we can copy paste here. And all of a sudden, when the place starts to quiet down, mainly because the bartender's back there tending, flipping beds for the night, all of a sudden, the oracle here starts to, and all of a sudden, our oracle in our group realizes she's an oracle. You gotta kind of have that faintly twinkle. And Minotaur, go ahead and give me a history check.
Alrighty.
Mickey would recognize this being a Minotaur. Because, you think that, yeah, she's okay. Apparently she wouldn't notice this.
How much of that fermented barley water did I have?
The barley water gets you every time. And you're just like, okay, she's from Akros. She's probably an oracle from Akros. She probably worships the centaur god of righteousness and coolness. Yeah, whatever. As your horns are bobbing to whatever tune that you're listening to in your own head.
I suppose oracles recognize oracle game, but
yeah, you kind of get, and all of a sudden she kind of goes into this fugue state where her eyes roll back, and immediately you're like, oh, she's doing the thing. She's doing the thing. One day when I'm a full-fledged oracle, I'm gonna do the thing. And she literally grabs the table and just starts mumbling. And is there anyone that speaks Celestial in the group?
I do.
Make you all flip through your character sheets real quick. It's the barbarian who speaks the angel tongue. Why? Because of freaking Archons, that's why. Archons are always talking about you when they're using Celestial.
I speak Celestial.
The other oracle also speaks Celestial.
So both of you guys kind of like, you immediately snap your heads around when you hear her mumbling, and she's just in this fugue state, but to you guys, she's just talking in Celestial with a bit of an accent. It's a bit of an accent she's got there. But she starts mumbling a bunch of incoherent words together. Basically, you're getting disaster, death, hunger, and all of a sudden, as her mumbling starts to connect together in sentences, usually by the third line that it's almost like she's doing a song, but she's keying in on the song. And the third time she's around to it, you're getting the words that the hunger of Mogus is upon you. All who are here should bow before me and worship, or face the hunger of Mogus. And of course, you all know that's the Minotaur god of nastiness.
I don't understand anything else she says, but she keeps saying Mogus, and that's pissing me off.
Time to work.
And she kind of collapses on the table, and then you see her hands like she spilt. There was a little conveniently Greek salt shaker on the table that she spills, and then she starts like drawing a symbol in the salt. And then she kind of like stands up, kind of drunkenly, like she's hungover, and she looks at all of you at the bar, and she says, "Be you the heroes of prophecy?" And she just pauses, waiting for an answer.
I mean, I guess it depends which prophecy. We're big damn heroes.
Certainly. High five.
Suddenly,
high
it sounds
fives?
like
Is that
I'm at
not
a
period?
drive-in theater.
Yeah.
I want to see what the symbol she drove was.
Are you
Drew.
gonna perceive with disadvantage, or are you gonna get closer to actually be able to look?
I'm gonna get closer to look.
Okay,
Go.
give me a religion roll as you come clonking with your hooves closer.
And I may actually use my Oracle Insight to really
And yes, that
get in
is
there.
Mogus.
I guess I'll mosey on over there and take a look too.
Excuse me, I need to move something so I can roll my d10.
Oh, your oracleness.
Yep. So that's 13 plus 4, 17.
So immediately you look, and she has drawn the symbol of Mogus.
Ah. Well, probably didn't need to do.
And underneath it, she drew a symbol that looks like a mountain. And then underneath the mountain, the symbol for the god of storms. Now, with your 17 on religious, you know that she's drawing a symbol for Mogus, and she's talking about Mogus, the god of slaughter, and the fact that the hunger of Mogus is upon you, which could be many, many things. There's like curses called the hunger of Mogus, which is basically when like a creature of his starts running rampage through the countryside, or where a horde of minotaurs go on the warpath for a year or two, as a horde of minotaurs, or even humans. And the symbol of the mountain with the lightning bolt, though, immediately gives you pause. As all of a sudden you stop to think about it and you do this cute little Seder ponder.
Mm-hmm.
As you look at the mountain and the thunder god, and you immediately think of the oracle, the temple, to the god of storms. Basically, there's a mountain peak that's always got a little thundercloud on top of it. And the best oracle of all oracles. She's basically think Oracle of Delphi class oracle. It's even professional oracles aren't that oracle's class, because she's of course the daughter of the god of storms. So of course most folks will go to that temple and give nice little donations, and immediately get like really, really good advice, or much like in the movie 300, bribed priests will give you very, very bad advice. Usually it's more of the good, because of course the gods kind of kick you out.
Yeah.
So you really know that if you go to this stuff and up and look at you, clearly she gives you this like really rude look that you're encroaching upon her. Unless you want to try like charming or trying to be guileless, she seems to be very offended by you walking up to her.
Oh boy. I have options. Let's just start with persuasion and say, good oracle,
Schmooze. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Immediately you start immediately starting yourself viewer, and immediately look like you're giving the proper level of respect, as well as an oracle proper level of respect. And she immediately offers you to sit at the table.
I'm seeing with presence so in the gods.
As you sit down and realize that this gal is immaculate, it's one of those of she must have just changed just outside of town before coming into town, because there's no dust or anything on her. She gives you the is just one who has you take my one domicile tonight for, and not be overheard. Wet tonight has decreed unwilling of sacrifice too long. Sacrifice of his choosing. And I would not want one of the highest to be injured by being outside of this building tonight.
Oh, are you an oracle of Morgus?
Give me an insight check.
Strong suit.
Oh,
Holy shit!
What beats a 2? A natural 1. And immediately she just kind of like, ha 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 ha. Little delightful laugh as she offers you some of the wine. I mean, the fact that she's serving you wine, that's a huge sign of respect. That completely distracts you. Either a combination of the or he just it off, and her like keeps his head down, and just keeps looking around the room, barely sips his wine glass. As you mentioned that, and just gives kind of a shifty eye when you say that. Are you a priestess of? No, I'm not. As she basically asks, you seem to be touched by the god. May I ask what you and your kind of question? It's probably been fermented with that.
Okay, she was asking what my friends at the bar are
Up to, yeah.
up to.
Yes.
Oh,
Don't disdainfully.
some work well done.
The gods or heroes is and she looks immediately over the table of the local guys as heroes is the local would say.
Yes, we do place things in the order that some may prefer. Patron Keplos prefers.
And when you name drop your goddess of fate, she kind of does this nose scrunch, and she's like, "A chosen of the goddess of fate is here? How?" And she kind of like looks like she's trying to add up the numbers in her head of how likely could that be. Somebody's up. You would
let our gods' disputes not be our own, and let us have them for the night at least.
Blessed be to that idea. And she takes a nice little sip of her drink, kind of distracting her long thought through of like, uh-oh. It's like hearing Catwoman hearing that Batman. Oh, nice. I have seen that much come about or leaves this wine house tonight. Please promise me that you would take great cares to not leave tonight. I would consider it a personal favor. There's lots of sidebars happening up at the bar in hushed tones.
Well, my lady, so long as I'm not pressed in my own duties, I shall do my best not to leave.
I would again just caution you that I would consider you and yours would stay here at least 2 months. For your own safety, of course. And she kind of like, because you did persuade her really well, she kind of like gestures and a little coin first. No more than 20 table shakingly, like he's trying to get attention of. She's willing to pay you to stay here for a few nights.
What?
It was a really good persuasion.
To other. That.
And remember, he pointed you guys of remember earning and losing piety with your gods. So what he's the fact goddess. I'll land really quick. To earn piety with her, you defeat a crystal at its place. Mogus sent to a place it doesn't belong. Repair a welt to destiny by God's ambition. That's bad. Teach people about her nature and her return, because she did come back from the underworld, by the way, where she sealed the Titans in. She used her own hair. She's cool like that. And you can lose piety with her by undoing a disaster. So if somebody's duly punished and he undoes it, he can get in trouble for that. Destroy natural wonder willfully. So if he goes up to that cool stacked rock and pushes the rock over just because he's a jerk, he will lose piety with his goddess for that. And assisting a creature in undermining the natural order or exploiting destiny. Those things can piss off your goddess.
Yep.
I walk outside to look around.
Your cup up, maybe for him to walk around. You see fully state of night. You feel this end follow stars of
Yeah, no.
as once from a moment.
He goes outside, as he said before, to make sure that
Okay, I'm successful and I will first, but after my
Not to look at the.
I know
Point
it's not to leave the building. I have to rush out to make sure that he doesn't off someplace.
Okay, immediately heard just like.
Coming back with me for 1 second.
but if you're I have
I have a thing.
your
I-
thing.
I
I'm
help.
Wait until they actually die.
I didn't say I was
Try
gonna
to make sure.
I mean, there's
You're going to make
nothing
this quite
wrong
difficult. Listen, I a way of making a bit of money here. If we just wait until this other person goes to bed, please.
What do I need money for?
Well, swords and things.
My cane, I don't know.
That's very true, but I can do swords and things. So,
Remember, if he's
As a-
talking about
as a-
gold
as a
coin, gold coin for funeral
Oh,
on each eye.
Barley water.
piss.
How do you
I don't
To say
I have this view and
Or they
okay. That would be so you.
hear you? You're going.
Guitar is obviously deep in her cups. She's deep in her cups,
Just-
losing her opinion.
pictures.
See, you guys, your relation, and these guys like one word, and he basically like house oracle. She basically leaves access coins. What did you overbang? And they proceed.
Like,
Yep, like they're hang on their little carrot.
It occurs to me if everyone that leaves town would be murdered, that whichever don't leave the tonight get murdered.
they didn't want to hear, so it's just convenient for us to get blown up. You know, tiny space.
Well, I'm leave. Enough.
Only person to know that anyone who leaves is going to get killed. Just let.
Yeah, that's true.
Because remember, I did say,
Well,
try
I
to say it
imagine
as
she's
discreetly as possible to just you.
That's doing this with the
Thank
The-
you,
and
Bella.
God kill basically everyone leaves this.
We're going to die for everybody. Why keep it a secret?
Because it doesn't care about anyone else apparently.
An oracle.
Why is
She cares about me because I'm an oracle.
Well, I would imagine she doesn't want everybody to know the more killed, the slaughter.
Me killed, and she doesn't want you guys killed because you're my compatriots.
Assuming she was telling me.
Assuming she's. It could be that staying here is also a trap.
And
Which means
Gus
we can also leave.
is the bartender, just wipes it on you guys because he was like, well, you know, the more coin I find,
Coin bag.
do you turn it up? It's got a 1 silver piece.
Alright, this is actually
Isn't a snake?
this is even maybe worth asking. I'm whatever. But we're definitely Thor to these people. My hand became a pieces. What am I, Judas?
Well,
So we die. We certainly want to get him. But she's not gonna.
Well, first use the whole not randomly murder her.
Or she found her death and is.
Or
Yeah, I know that feeling. It's not great, but let's keep.
no, it's Mosquito.
Go outside and protect whatever people are in case they're about to be murdered by some kind of mythical beast. I'm going to go outside to do that myself because they did.
It's with you in case.
In the morning.
I'll do birds with me.
That seems problematic.
Well, you know,
Their sticks are going to help you so much.
there's the action economy, but the whole thing.
Hungry. You're not anything.
I'm going to take a look outside anyways, just because.
Yep.
Stand in the doorway and put one of my hoofs back and forth in the door and go, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out.
Because, you know,
Yes,
booze.
it's the bird
Right
water.
hoof in, you stick your right hoof out, you stick your right hoof out.
Exactly.
All about
You
it.
feel me?
So you realize that when you look, out the door after you've been talking, that their chariot's heading out of town, and it looks like two wagons joined up with them and are heading just like at the edge of the darkness that you can see they're heading out of town. So
Oh,
she
sure,
obviously
something.
wasn't alone. She had two wagons with her that seemed to have been covered, so you can't see quite who or what was in them, but they take out at a good clip out of town.
They seem like they're in a hurry.
And you kind of look that direction, and then you kind of look back the direction they came, and immediately you guys kind of give me perception check. Those of you that are sticking your head out of the doors.
Oh, god damn it. I accidentally double clicked.
Okay, so obviously looks like our satyr. Wow, like most of the group is just like booze.
This is where I should have saved my oracle stuff.
Or you're more interested in the wagons taking off as all of you guys look and you realize, hey, there's like a caravan heading out of town.
You notice the ones with the highest perception rolled the lowest.
Yep.
Bunny, 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 bunny.
Because they're all super into their cups and not into their seeing things. But thankfully our bard, she kind of like looks at the wagons, and because she likes to sway her song to music, she waves her head back and forth. She kind of turns to the other direction that they came, obviously from earlier, and you kind of see this like weak torchlight of someone walking with a torch, but they seem to be stumbling. Like, could be they're dragging something, it could be they're hurt, but the torch every now and then like falls to the ground and then gets back up and coming. But it's a good distance away. It's like a good, 700, 800 feet away. So it's just kind of the hectic light going up and down. You can't really notice much yet.
Huh. What is that?
And there's a faint
That's zombie?
yell on the wind that you pick up, super faint. But you can't make out what's being said, just something with urgency and angst.
Guys, I think something's like happening. Should we go look?
We could go look, but we should probably light some torches of our own to go that way. Does anyone have dark vision?
I do.
Conveniently outside the drinking establishment are a bunch of complimentary torches next to a lit torch. So that way drunks don't go stumbling off over cliffs in the dark.
It's bad for business.
It's because there's two alcoholics that trade torches for booze. So, the wine house is very nice in the economy of making sure everyone is serviced that needs to be serviced. Because one does not deny the basic necessities and break the rules of hospitality.
All right.
That's how you get
Let's-
smoked.
I think we should probably check this out, guys.
Okay?
Well, that would
Might
be
just be a
leaving
first.
where we are right now.
So you guys do exactly what you were told not to do for gold for silver coins instead of gold coins?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we already have the silver coins, so.
So
Okay, so you guys start, y'all grab a light source and you start heading that direction. And as you get closer, you realize it's one local, he looks a lot like the guys that were in the bar, dragging a definitely wounded guy that seems like on his last leg. He's like literally got a busted leg. He's got wounds on him. He's got blood covering half his face. And his friend's got the torch in one hand and dragging him by the belt. And, and he's as soon as you guys get close, do you guys like rush forward or do you guys like keep a calm pace and let them approach you first?
Well, he sure looks like he needs help. I feel like I should go help.
Okay, so you kind of rush forward in the
Yeah,
good,
definitely rush
decent
forward.
people kind of thing of, oh, dude, you look jacked up. I mean, he genuinely looks like he's been run over by a car, And as soon as you guys get close, he kind of places his friend down as gently as he can, and he kind of like puts his water skin behind his head and kind of like squirts some into his hand and puts it onto his mouth. He's like, Joran here we were out hunting the boar that's been bothering our fields, and that's when it came out of the bushes and attacked him. And he just looks at you with abject fear and terror in his face. And then you kind of look over at the kid and you realize he's got a really nasty wound on his leg as well. That looks really nasty. I mean, it looks almost like a couple-day-old wound festering. Maybe if someone wants to roll medicine, I'll tell you more. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well, I know nothing about medicine. I should do that, right?
okay, I'll take a look.
I
Not
can
like-
cure your wound. You tell me what happened to you.
Ooh, so immediately our cleric here immediately sees festering wound and she snaps into action. Without saying a word, you just hear her fin flukes kind of like do their thing when she's agitated of injuries. And who knew a Triton could have such a warm heart for compassion?
Blech.
So you immediately realize they've got some kind of canine, like a large wolf or large dog bites. But for some reason, these wounds seem very, very, very festering and rotten. Like more so than they should be, unless they were like wallowing in filth for days.
That's no good.
When did this happen?
We were out hunting what we thought was going to be the boar, and then we came across the boar's corpse. And as we did, that's when it fell upon us. It looks like a large hunting dog, but we didn't see more than the teeth and the claws as it lashed out and mauled my friend. And it bit me once. I was dragging him out of there. Unfortunately, two of our other friends didn't make it out of there.
Good gods, man. I didn't ask what happened. I asked when.
Less than 2 hours ago. I've been carrying him back to get help because his wounds don't look natural.
2
Those
hours?
Don't look 2 hours old.
No. Yuck. Hellhounds?
Would
Yeah.
animal handling or nature, which I suck at,
I like
be
how
able
you
to
name
help
drop
us
that.
identify
I
what
could
could
do
have
nature.
bit it?
I will accept a nature,
Ugh.
and you're immediately sure of like these are unnatural wounds from some kind of monstrous canine,
Would you?
and they are
overruled-
clearly diseased, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not touching him.
As the bard's just like, diseased dogs, it is.
Would you like Arcana?
Yeah,
Nature?
Arcana might be good.
For the nature of the beast, it would be more nature.
Oh,
Well,
I can
I
do
rolled a
nature
12.
The man
I'm
with
glad you're here.
the man with 2 years of life experience goes, it's not undead. Doesn't look undead. Zombie bites would totally be smaller, but probably just as putrid. And then, so
Okay.
then
Zombie and a werewolf at the same time?
our satyr kind of gives the wounds a look, and he stops and he's like, okay, no, it's not Arcana. Maybe it's something monstrous. And immediately when he says canine and monstrous, you kind of put 2 and 2 together. And you think, you have a fairly strong suspicion that this may in fact be what's referred to as a death dog.
Ew.
A 2-headed
Wait, there's only one
monstrous... Huh?
There's only one bite, though.
Well, his buddy looks all mauled up. Like a pack of dogs chewed on him. So, but he only got 1 nipping blow to his leg, which is how he was able to escape, and the fact that he left 2 wounded friends behind.
Well, they're probably dead now.
They bravely said to grab him and take their older brother back to get healed. But then I heard screams that seemed as if they didn't survive. And you can see, of course, the infection crawling up his leg. He's clearly poisoned and diseased. It's almost like he has the poisoned condition.
Yeah, nobody should be outside if there's a death dog wandering around.
Yeah, I agree.
They'll bite anybody.
And pretty much what your satyr, what you come up with the death dog thing is, it's a horrible dog, chews people's up. People usually die of its poisonous bite, because it's basically disease. So if it bites you, you rot and die because they eat corpses. They eat everything. And it's really dangerous in the dark. It's really sensitive for, perceptiveness. And it's really sneaky. So it could totally jump out and attack a bunch of hunters if they were looking for boars in the middle of the night with torches.
Aren't they like the embodiment of hate? Like, they literally, there's nobody they won't bite.
Yep. Unless you got some kind of special protection, there's nobody they won't go after.
So.
Well, this guy's not going to be in good shape in another hour or 2. That's probably priority number 1.
Some way to save this person that has been bitten by the death dog, because he looks like he's gonna get worse and die at this moment.
My healing abilities.
Do you have anything that can cure poison?
Sure don't.
You could get a hair of the dog that bit him, huh? No, that's actually probably not a good idea.
It was a good joke, so good it went to the side of bad. Now, would our cleric like to take a moment and read up on the medicine skill? See how I give the cleric instant homework? Dun-dun-dun.
I guess I could do that.
I don't remember anything that says that cure wounds wouldn't work on a poisoned wound.
Oh, I thought it didn't. I thought you had to use cure poison.
You do to cure the poison effect, but you could save him by giving him back hit points. Because you distinctly have a feeling that this festering wound is draining his hit points. And if he were to reach 0...
I want to keep those available for you guys.
Aww. And also, let's see.
So we'll buy him time, basically, and then the poison will continue to whittle down his hit points further, or?
Well, he'll get saving throws, basically, or anyone bitten by this dog would get saving throws. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. I mean, you could even check to see if there's a local healer in town. I mean, it doesn't have to be you guys. I mean, this is a self-sustaining community.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. I'm actually sort of in the plan of like, let's not hunt the horribly dangerous dog at night, and maybe go with trying to make sure that people don't get killed tonight. Just wandering around from place to place, like escort people home from the tavern. Maybe try going after it the next day.
We're new heroes.
But, you know, just try not to get ourselves murdered by the dog.
Yeah, in the player's handbook, it literally just says that it lets you try to stabilize a dying companion or diagnose an illness. So I guess I could try to stabilize them.
You could totally try.
Can we drag him into the tavern first?
Yeah, you could totally, do the classic throw him on the table in the tavern to treat his, bitten wounds. Do you guys do that?
Yeah.
Oh no, is there a doctor in the house?
I'm not a doctor, but I stayed at a vineyard once.
All right, let's drag them in. This will help convince the
locals.
What do you call them? Locals, that they should not wander outside right now.
You guys come.
Luckily, we have a big, strong minotaur to help carry people.
You guys come bursting in with the wounded guy dragging along, and the very wounded guy being carried along, and you plop him down on the very table that the oracle was at not too many hours ago. And immediately everybody's like, what the hell? As they're looking and they're seeing these horrible rotten bite marks on him. It looks like he was eaten by dogs days ago and left to rot in a ditch somewhere.
So I don't want to panic anyone.
As he turns around from the wounded guy.
But there's quite definitely an evil magical dog out in the forest. Not terribly magical, but will,
snap. I could just use my cantrip.
Spare the dying?
Oh, no. Well, yeah, I could use that, but he's not actually dead yet or at 0 hit points, so that won't work. I keep thinking that there's a healing cantrip. I don't know why.
Sadly, there is not.
Maybe there used to be.
I know.
I don't think I did very well on my medicine roll.
In the beta, there was one that did 1 hit point, but then people were insulted by it and never used it. But a free 1 hit point you can constantly do. Just saying.
Yeah.
So you kind of medicine-y him, and you're just you squeeze the wounds, and the wounds do not run clear, and you're just no. And then Mickey comes up and she just gives you her Minotaur 2 cents, which is basically her 2 horns poking you. And she's just maybe if you, oh no, basil leaf's not going to fix that. Maybe if you chew the basil and spit it on the wounds, it'll draw out the poison. No.
Bartender, do you happen to have a Healy kind of person in this town? Because we could, yeah.
Well, there's Agatha, the midwife.
I don't think they're having any babies anytime soon.
She's a part-time healer as well.
Okay. Should we go get her?
And she can cure the pox if you got it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, these guys have a pretty bad pox right now. Monk, do you want to come with me because we're both pretty fast?
Yeah, sure.
I can just cast Healing Word on him, I guess. I was just kind of saving them for you guys.
She's just he doesn't have his HMO card. Y'all are under my HMO.
Let's go together.
He's not in my network.
Lady.
He's on Obamacare. He's on his own.
It's so hard at this level. You have 2 spell slots, we don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, so go ahead and click on where your weapons section is, your Healing Word spell. And anything that you have that could help him with a saving throw, if you have bless or anything like that, could help as well. Even
you just want me to cast all my first level spells, so I don't have it.
A bard using Bardic Inspiration could give him a 1d6 on his saving throw. I throw that out there at the bard.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
All right.
Okay,
He
so
has
you-
5 hit points back.
You heal him up, and he starts coughing, and you see the wound kind of heal, like chunks of meat are growing back, but still, it's got that nasty infectedness to it.
Gross.
You just look at him, and you're like, dude, you got to fight the infection off yourself.
Um,
I'm mumbling inspirational words and phrases in his ear.
Where are
And,
we going?
and he just pats the Minotaur as a thank you for her song that's improving his spirits, as his buddy like throws wine into his mouth. So,
how long do you have to wait before you can try a skill again?
well, once it's kind of relevant, so it'll be a while for trying to treat his disease. So basically, you gave it the once over, and pretty much today, you have not been able to cure his disease,
All right.
his poisonness.
Well, if he dies, I'll cast the stay the dying nonsense.
The don't die for reals. So
Yeah.
so you two are running off to Agatha's. Of course, I'm assuming you stopped for quick directions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, one of the brave locals will go with you, by the way, to help give directions, even though you guys leave him in the dust as he's like, go that way. Go to the house
Oh no.
that's got the strawberries and the grape trees. As you guys basically leave him in the dust as he's, not able to keep up with your fast saturness and monkness, and you find the house that they were talking about. Obviously, there's lots of herbs drying outside the front of the house. She obviously looks like a medicine person. So you guys, how do you approach the house? Do you just bang on the door? What do you do?
I'm struggling on a way something other than banging on the door. I think it's just banging on the door.
Okay, it's late at night and you need medical help. That's totally acceptable.
Emergency!
911 emergency. As you come and just rap on the door, and then you hear this old voice of, who wakes an old lady in the night?
Pardon us. You don't know us, but we are here because there's a man at the tavern who is badly. There are 2 men at the tavern that are badly injured and in need of help.
There are many men at the tavern that need my help.
These men have rotting wounds that they received from what was the name of that beast?
Death dog.
Death dog.
A death dog.
Very creative name.
And she's like, death dog? There hasn't been one of those here in seasons.
Well,
Just one moment. And you hear her like popping her flint and steel to try to light a match or a candle. And you just hear her doing this for quite a while. And she's like, damn my old hands.
if you'll open the door for me, I'll can prestidigitate that for you.
The door's unlocked. Why would I lock the door?
I open the door and I open the door and I light whatever she's trying to.
Okay, you see, she's
Light.
just trying to light some tallow candles. She just wanted to have light to see who was at the door. But immediately you've got torches, so you guys like come in and she's just like, ah, and she holds up the little tallow air candle to your torch and lights it. You say, death dog?
Oops, sorry.
I'll cast sanctuary here.
That was not on purpose.
As she looks at both of you, and she really, really gives an eyeball to the guy who looks kind of starry night there. She kind of squints, not sure if it's her old eyes or the Redeemer is actually made of stars for a second there. As she's just like, how many wounds does he have?
Well, one just has 1 wound. One has more than I cared to count while we were carrying him back.
Oh, and she immediately goes and starts opening some jars and takes out some handkerchiefs and starts chewing and spitting things into the handkerchiefs. And then she's just like, well, how are we going to do this? Are you going to carry me back, or do I just give you these and you have someone administer them to the men? Or else they die.
I think we might be faster running them back ourselves, but I would be willing to escort you there, or carry you there.
As you look at her and realize she would be going at a ridiculously slow pace in the daytime.
Yes.
Throw her over your shoulder.
And she makes these two little handkerchiefs that she ties up, and she says some blessing words over them. And one is really big, so obviously it's for the guy with the more wounds. And the other one seems about palm size. And she just kind of like, hands them over to, the satyr, and just says, "Now make sure to only use them externally on the festering wounds. Do not have them eat any of these."
Okay, and I use the big one on the very injured person and the little one on the not so injured one, right?
That would be foolish to do it any other way, of course.
Well, you always have to be sure about these things.
And she
Make that
kind of
mistake once and you...
she kind of gestures over at the Redeemer and goes, "Hemlock's the secret ingredient. Kills most little infections. Big ones, too." She gives a little old lady winky eye. Who knows how many husbands she's put in the ground. So she gives you the packets and just says, make sure whoever is paying for it leaves a chicken or eggs or cow or something for her in the morning.
Would you like a bag of silver by any chance?
Ooh, silver's always good. I can make tinctures out of that.
Okay, what's a cow's worth of silver? Oh, here, just take this bag.
As she gladly fiddles with the coins. She kind of like glints in the eye. She gives the coins a lot of attention for a second there.
Is there something special about these coins?
Are you going to the temple of the Thunder God?
Possibly later, yes.
Were these coins meant for sacrifice at his temple?
Why? They were I hadn't, no. I'm sorry, I had received them from a different oracle.
She kind of nods her head like, oh, that explains it, an oracle. Okay. And she kind of like thumbs one of the coin and flips it over, and you see it's got, the king and queen of, and then she flips the coin over, and you see the god and his, temples, that mountain crest with the god's symbol of the lightning bolts printed on the back. Which, as an oracle, you happen to know that sometimes people will specifically make coins for sacrifice or to go to a temple.
Interesting.
As opposed to just coins of the kingdom. Also, there's some leaders that do that so they can keep track of what coins the temple is holding on to and not putting back in the currency. But they all seem to be stamped that way. So possibly this was taken from a temple or was taken from someone going to a temple.
Yeah, that's not great.
Oh.
And she gladly opens her drawer and just like dumps all the coins in the drawer. And you see there's like random coins that other people have given her. She must have that whole superstition of she doesn't want to really touch coins herself. She keeps them in a drawer. And then she just pulls out coins as needed.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
And she just waves at you boys as you go running off into the darkness with your torches.
Yep.
She's weird.
She is weird. But she gives you lots of herbs for your coins.
She
probably would have taken less coins, but anyway.
She spit in them.
Spit is sometimes the best part.
Humans.
Yes.
They're not,
not human.
Flesh they're printed on. Oh, sorry.
So,
all right.
After about an hour or so, the boys come running back to the tap house. The guy that was guiding you beat you there because he basically just lost his breath and then turned around and went back for booze.
Yep.
As he's waiting for you guys, with drinks in hand, at the door of, here you go, you need these from your running.
Thanks.
And
more goat piss.
Listen, we can drink the wine. We don't have to drink the goat piss one. That was just me learning about the local drinks.
Oh, thank God.
So do you give these to your cleric?
Yes, cleric, please apply the big one to the very bitey one and the small one to the somewhat bitey one.
Yeah, okay.
Wow, that midwife is really generous.
As you open it up and there's this spitty root leaves that you're just like, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to use it because it'll get me advantage on my medicine roll. And it will give me a chance to give them an extra save. Which your
Alright.
medicine will be way better than their save. Okay, so since you had advantage... So is that roll for the guy that's horribly mauled or the guy that's just got one bite mark?
I would like to say horribly mauled.
Okay, so you put the poultice on him, then the poultice does its job, and you just see him kind of like color come back to his skin as the black veiny infection disease lines kind of start to recede a little. It looks like you've broken the disease's hold.
That's great.
Okay, and how about the other guy?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
dead.
The other guy, you put it on him and he's just like so gracious that you're doing this and he's thanking you and he's like, I will make sure my cousin who's a fisherman will give to the goddess and you know, I'm so thankful. And he doesn't realize that you just see like black veiny lines growing up his leg and you're just like, oh shit, this didn't work.
It's a good thing I've been inspiring him so hard.
Oh, you're right. Well, you're inspiring him, but not his doctor. So,
Well, I guess I messed that up, didn't I?
well, how many bardic inspirations do you have?
I think just one.
It should be something related to your charisma modifier.
It should be equal to your charisma modifier, I
You can
believe.
use the number. Yep, a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, which is.
Hopefully not one.
Are you +2
Two.
or +3? So you have another use if you.
So I can. I
I will
inspired two
let
people.
you retroactively give your doctor a bardic inspiration as she's smearing poultice on him. Did you do that?
Sure.
Okay. So go
Save it.
ahead and Andy, go ahead and roll a 1d6 for your bardic inspiration.
All right, hang on. I gotta move stuff around.
That helps.
As she's trying to inspire you, and it's just like surface dwellers talk a lot.
Yes, they do.
And
It's all
as
noise.
like I
I'm not
said,
used
you
to
saw
it.
those little lines of infection growing, and you're just hope because his injury wasn't that bad, but the infection. Hopefully, he makes his saving throw in the morning after he gets some rest.
Yeah.
Maybe that batch was a bad batch. She put all her good spit in the first bag. She was a little short on spit, you know. She may have been flirting and thinking what she would do with a satyr if she had 20 minutes with him and could give him some of the powdered drinkers she makes. Keeps all the farm boys in good shape. So basically, they open up a room and they put both of them in beds to rest so they can take a long rest for the night. What are you guys doing while they're bedding down for the night? Injured that they are.
Not going out in the dark hunting death dogs.
That would be an accurate statement.
But it's just a puppy.
I don't kind of want to hunt the death dog either in the dark, just because.
So you guys
seems
kind
like-
of do that scary sit looking out the windows with torches going, what was that?
Jim, what time is it?
It's just about time to wrap up.
That's not what I meant.
Oh.
I meant in the game.
It's about, at this point, since they went running there and back, it's probably about midnight, 1 o'clock.
right,
are
well-
those other patrons still in here?
Yeah, well, you said not to leave, so they're just like, we're staying here for the night.
Okay.
Which
They're going to
means
stay here for the night. Then
we're not
So-
renting a room, we're
Nothing
just
else to
drinking
do.
through the
I'm
night.
ready to-
I'm a little worried about that, the guy that's got the
Infection?
black veins running up his leg. So, and it's evening,
Mm-hmm.
so
Perhaps we should take turns keeping watch.
We could do that.
I don't want to hunt the death dog tomorrow if all of us were up all night.
Hopefully
And we
somebody
and-
makes a con save and is not exhausted from keeping their eyes open all night.
And we could take watches basically.
Yeah, as long
And
as
it's
you're
not-
not exerting yourself any.
Yeah.
All right, so I went ahead and did that to
Okay.
help him out.
So just in case you give him a pick me up, healing touch to like, hey, we're staying out of danger tonight. Here's some hit points for you. Have some life back. Okay, so he definitely feels better after that.
See you in the morning.
So are they both doing significantly better? Does the other guy still need some help, or?
The mauled up guy looks like he'll heal on his own. She definitely gave him back a chunk of life and then cured the poison. The guy with just one bite, she basically healed up all the bite damage. It's just that it's infected with whatever poison is infecting him. And she can basically, your physician clearly knows that this kind of infection, every 24 hours, it's almost like they'll take a constitution save or lose a hit point maximum, and if it hits 0, they die. So slowly you whittle yourself down because of this poison. It's almost like you're rotting away to nothing.
I'm patting him on the shoulder, saying, "It's okay. I'll inspire you some more in the morning."
Oh. You say that so when he wakes up, he actually gets to add, I'll be damned, because this 10 was him. So, are you guys doing anything other than keeping watch through the windows the rest of the night?
Yeah, just there's enough of us that we could easily do shifts that wouldn't interrupt our long
that you
rest.
can still
right?
get your long rest, yeah?
Yeah, I don't have anything useful to do. I could play my musical instrument, but there's nothing. No.
You guys have that creepy
Pretty
western
dark
where
out, and we don't know how many death dogs there are. So
the camera pans around and you all are just doing busy things with yourselves to try to stay awake, but still get full rest as you're peeking through the window every time like a night bird flies by. Was that the black dog? You get that corner of the eye black dog thing when you see motion and you swear it's the dog.
can death dogs open doors? I think we're okay in here, right?
You should be okay with the door, Bard. Okay, so you guys basically take a long rest. Camera fades back as you guys are in there with candles lighting up the windows, peeking out, looking for danger. The guys tell you exactly where they ran into the death dog. It's a nice little grove area. Usually there's a cave that they hunt pig. And obviously the death dog was massacring the pack of pigs out there, which that alone was impressive because, boars are tough-ass bastards. And they found like multiple dead boar corpses out there. So obviously these dogs came through and just massacred. And they're super sneaky. And the guy that has the infection, but only the one bite that's healed up, he's more than willing to guide you guys out there. After all, he looks at you with your big weapons and your armor and stuff. And he just has his little spatha and hunting javelins. And he left all his javelins behind to carry his buddy. So he's
sure.
more than willing to take you guys out when there's daylight outside and it's safe. Especially after seeing that you have a real priestess with you.
Sure, I'm willing to check that out in daylight.
And the fact that thanks to the Bardic Inspiration, his infection broke in the night. You inspired him to heal. He's like, boy, she sings swell.
You guys may look funny, but you're all very nice.
So wow, when was the last time a human said that about a Minotaur?
As I give you a quick teaser, because it is in real life after 10 o'clock. So, conveniently, they draw, here's the road that you take to come out of town. And the cave is over here where they usually hunt pigs that live in the cave area. And that was where they were ambushed.
Kill the pig.
And that is a good place to wrap it up there.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about Roll20?
Oh,
Convenient.
I'm like, wow, no bar fight happened, no throwdown with the Oracle. I like you guys, actually using skills there. It's good use of them.
yeah, okay.
I mean, there certainly could have been a drunken bar brawl, but then Miss Busybody showed up and derailed everyone's plans for the evening. So,
True that.
And the fact that you took money and good credits, and you still went outside.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
of
had
course.
worked on money.
It makes me wonder what our acolyte of the ferryman thinks about curing the disease that could have killed these guys.
What did you do with that sack of silver, buddy?
Yeah, wrong god. It's the other death god that would have an issue with that.
Yep, I know. That's why I was saying that this god is better for you to take, because the other god's a jerk.
All the gods are jerks.
He's like,
Oh
Exactly.
no.
He's like, they survive, so you should go shank them in their sleep.
Yeah. See, you have Athreos, which is the god of death and graves, and then you have Erebos, which is death and treachery.
Yep. Your god
Yeah.
merely says
Hello.
put coins on their eyes and show respect.
I thought treachery was a hallmark of the gods.
Ho 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 ho.
And this is why we get along.
as your barbarian says, yes, and that's why we don't worship any of those assholes.
Okay. I got to get going because I got to get up in a couple hours. Ugh.
Oh,
Alrighty,
snap.
guys. Have a good night and be safe tomorrow.
Good night.
I'm sure I'll fall asleep while driving.
You better not.
Oh, I do all the time.
We
But that's
need
just
you.
different.
We need you next game, so you can't fall asleep on the road.
I don't have cure wounds
Later.
in real life, so don't do that.
I'll talk to you guys later.
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 Bye, guys.
Bye.